Okay, so I think we can begin our meeting today. So let me start by introducing myself. My name is Bernadette Kiarie, and I am an educator, a teacher by profession, and I am a level 1 and level 2 Google certified educator, and I am also the GEG Nairobi leader. So I take this opportunity to welcome you to this meet where we shall discuss a number of things. And I will start by, right away, I'll present my screen. Then I tell you the objectives. So today I want to speak about a number of things. And let me split my screen so that I'm able to see the Google Meet and also be able to see my presentation. I hope you can see my screen. Is it split on your end? I believe so. Okay. So now today I want to talk about virtual teacher support and professional development. I used slides to prepare for this, Google Slides, and they are loading. So I believe we are all teachers, we are all educators, and we are passionate about what we do. And that's why I want to entice you to be either a supporter of people online or to be a professional in that line also, and to grow yourself. So let me tell you my objectives. I just have two of them for this session. One is to highlight the G Suite for education, and the other objective is to entice you to become a certified Google educator so that we can all move together. I am sure you have heard of this thing that if you're alone, you're just sitting alone somewhere, you're smart, and there's no problem with that. But if you join hands with someone else, your ideas are always brilliant because you strengthen each other in everything that you do. Teachers are very resilient. Even in these times of COVID-19, teachers are very resilient people, and they are always, looking to overcome barriers in order to be better people. So that's what I believe we all are. And we are willing to unlearn old habits that are not helping our learners to gain new habits that are going to help our learners. Now, I have a strong feeling that school might never be the same after COVID-19. We are going through very interesting times, and school might never be the same. So, why don't we welcome that change and be part of the change that we would like to see? And also support others who may be, shy to become that which they want to be. Grace, kindly mute your microphone. Thank you. Now, G Suite for education. I have a little story that I would like to share about where I am an educator, I'm a teacher, and we had been offered G Suite for education some time ago, but we were just, not using it. Let me put it that way. We were using only the Gmail, and we felt comfortable with that. Then COVID-19 hit, and there was a crisis, and teachers had to learn so quickly and so fast, and now we are doing very well because I didn't do it alone. We formed an ICT team in school, and when you're a team, like I have said, people buy your idea even a bit better. So please don't try to do things alone as an educator. Get together with others, and you will see that the result is usually greater than that of one person. So basically, what is in G Suite for Education? A number of things. There is you have the accounts. Once there's G Suite for Education in a learning institution, everybody can get an email account using the domain name. That becomes very useful for everything: learning, collaboration, etc., etc. In fact, G Suite has three very important apps for collaboration. That is Google Docs, Google Sheets, and Google Slides. We can all be working together on one particular document, and probably we can practice that towards the end of this presentation. So it is so rich. You have your Gmail account, you have Drive, almost unlimited space. Actually, it's unlimited space of Drive. You have the Google Classroom, you have the docs, the sheets, and the slides I have talked about for collaboration. You have your Google Calendar. You have Meet. Meet is the newest addition in G Suite for Education, I believe. And we are using it now, and you can see how useful it is. You can be able to meet your students, near to face. And then you have sites which you can use to make personal websites, and they're hosted for free, by the way. And then you can store your contacts, of course. Then on top of that, you have Google Groups. You can create groups, maybe, for example, for departments in an educational setup. Then you have YouTube. YouTube is so useful in Google Classroom, where you can have your students watch a video or the other to enhance learning or to appeal to the different senses towards learning. Because of course we know when you're teaching, you should try and appeal to as many senses as possible. Then you have Google Maps. Then you have Google News, you have Photos, you have Fold, you have Hangouts, which is basically being replaced by Meet. Then you have forms, especially for research, to send out questionnaires, and even in the classroom for multiple choice questions. Yeah, you can assess using forms. Then you have Keeps for keeping your little notes. Then you have Jamboard, which is a very useful tool, but we shall learn about it in another webinar on 20th. And you have Cloud Search, you have Google Earth, very useful things for educators. And for all that, you actually get it for free. For now, installation is free until sometime in September 30th. Google has been very generous to us. And on top of that, you can get one-on-one support from a Google for Education partner. I believe you can find one near you. It could be very near you, or you might need to make a call or two, but they will give you the exact procedure on how you can install G Suite for Education in your learning institution. And there are many other services in there, and we shall explore just now. Now, what can an educator do? You're an educator, I am an educator, I believe. And I believe we have to be thirsty for knowledge. It's very important usually to join online educator groups. And I will tell you where I'm going with this, with the certification, yeah? Because when you join these online educator groups, you find people who are like-minded. For example, I am in a number of groups that are using G Suite for Education. And I can tell you it has been an amazing journey. I have learned very many things from these online educator groups. And that's a way of supporting each other as educators. You can initiate online teaching and learning environment in your learning institution. Don't wait for the principal to be the one to start these things. It is within your power. You just need to get together with a few colleagues that you convince, and you will be able to do these things. There is a chat. Let me just see what someone is saying. Okay. So you can convince your colleagues to be able to, and especially in a school environment where there are very many, adult learners in terms of teachers, you try and not do it alone. Try and collaborate with other teachers in your institution, and you will see that they will accept things a little more easier. At least that has worked for me. I believe now you can see everything. Rosemary, just answer so that I can continue.
Yes, it's very clear.
All right. Oh, okay, thank you. So I was telling you it's very good to get thirsty for this knowledge and to convince your colleagues about it and all that. So maybe we can start exploring G Suite for education. There is a difference between general G Suite for businesses and G Suite for education. But if I click on that link, for example, it will take me to the general G Suite. So let me finish with the slides first, and then we go back to explore all these things. Now, professional development. Everybody wants to grow, usually. Whether it's a small child or a big person, a small child who doesn't want to know how to walk will try very hard to walk, and that is part of growth. And as a teacher, I'm sure you feel something you feel like you need to know a little bit more to advance in your profession. And that is what is called professional development. Now, my idea is that you can grow a lot within your profession, whether it is going out to do a master's course or a higher diploma or whatever it is, you can grow. But there are very many ways that you can grow online also, especially in times like this. Instead of spending a lot of time on, social media, for example, you can spend that time valuably by enhancing yourself, enhancing your profession, and it is very fulfilling usually. So if you don't do it for anything else, do it for your own self to have that self-fulfillment. Now, it does not need to be planned by your employer. For example, do not wait for TSC to plan how you're going to grow in your profession, because you have the power within you. You can grow yourself. And so it needs a lot of intrinsic motivation. It has to be within you. Now, becoming a Google certified educator. I will exit my slides first so that we can actually explore now practically. For example, if you just go online, let's say you're interested in G Suite for education, and you just type in G Suite for education, or you type in gsuite.google.com, gsuite.google.com, this one. This is G Sites, G Suite, gsuite.google. I misspelled Google, imagine. That's terrible. Google for, and then .com. You can start there and start looking at what is on offer. Yeah. For example, this is the G Suite. You can work from home with it. You can collaborate with other people with it. You can look at the features. Yeah. You can look at the pricing, although it's free for now, like I have told you, for education. And you can explore this, and I will leave that to you after this session to go and explore. Just type in gsuite.google.com and explore and see what this can do for your school. And then you can just look for G Suite for education. For education specifically, because I believe most of us in this meet are educators. And then you just go to G Suite for education and see what it has to offer, so that when you're convincing your colleagues about G Suite for education, then you're talking from a point of information. Yeah. And you can explore this page. It's quite long. Yeah, you can spark learning with G Suite for education. and you're encouraged here already to sign up for G Suite, yeah? Some people already wish they had signed up before. You know, you can collaborate anytime, anywhere with this G Suite for Education tools, and you can read about them, you can download overview, etc. Because when you're talking to other people about things, you need to be convincing. You need to have them leave that place convinced that they can actually do it. Then it also mentions Teacher Center, which is a place we will go to so that I show you how you can become a certified educator. It shows Google Meet for online learning, yeah. This is what we have been using in the place where I work. You can transform how your schoolwork is done. You have security tools, you have all manner of things, and it's very, very interesting. Now, all these are there. We have already mentioned them in an earlier slide, yeah? All the G Suite for Education apps that are available for you. And like I had told you, you can see these three are grouped together because they are collaborating tools. You can use them for collaboration. Towards the end, we will do a Google Doc and collaborate on it. Okay, now let me go to G Suite Teacher Center, the Teacher Center now for certification. So for certification, for you to be a Google certified educator, you just visit the Google Teacher Center. Teacher Center. You just type it in, click there. They have a new site, so we are likely to get to the old one and then we migrate to the new site. Yeah, they've taken us to the old one. So you see this place here, it's written, visit the new site. So I can just click here so that we operate from the new site. If you Google and you get this site, just visit the new site. And then I am already signed in there, or rather, I am already a member of the Google for Education Teacher Center. And so all I would need is to sign in with my Google account. And since it's open, I believe I am in. So here, again, the thing of learning never stops comes up, yeah? Because you're an educator already, you have gone through training, and learning really never stops. So don't get discouraged. Don't say, now I have to start being a student again. No. This is how life is, especially today and in the tech world where everything changes so fast. So in this center, you can train. There are training courses. For example, if I click there, it will take us to the courses available. And you can see, you will choose whether you're a new learner or an advanced learner. So if you have never interacted with this site, of course, you choose new learner, and then you proceed on, yeah? So for new learners, you will be given basic G Suite for education, yeah? Because it's a teacher center, so the service that you're going to get is very biased towards education. And then if you're advanced, then you will be given an advanced training for G Suite for education. Now, do you need to have G Suite for education in your learning institution in order to become a certified educator? The answer is no. You can become a certified educator even before your learning institution actually gets to install G Suite for education. So it's good to prepare yourself. So new learner, advanced learner, you decide which one you are and you get in and you continue. So this is another page that I would really encourage you to explore on your own. You can explore even now, but of course, I expect you also to be kind of attentive to what I am saying. Now, when it comes to product guides, it gives you an overview of each and every one of the products. For example, Google Classroom. If you just click on overview on Google Classroom, it starts to teach you already. And this is online material that is free, supporting you, supporting your growth. Yeah. So getting started with Google Classroom, yeah, where you teach and the pupils are at home. And you can watch videos if you're an audio learner. You can read the materials. You can download and read if you're, a reading person. We are different. We are all different. And the video will just be emphasizing what is written in these pages. Myself, I'm more of a reader, so I read a lot instead of listening to the video. In fact, I come to the video to kind of relax with it after I have read. Now, I want to go to certification because that is really my objective, to give you an overview of how you can become at least level 1. Let's aim for level 1. I told you I'm a level 2 certified educator at the beginning, and you have to begin with level 1 more or less because it's the more basic one. So let's say you want to become a level 1 Google certified educator. You just go to certification and go to level educator level 1. Very easy to follow guides, yeah? So the first step, if you want to earn your educator level 1 certification, is to demonstrate proficiency. So interacting with the tools, with the G Suite for Education tools that we have talked about, will be very useful if you want to sit for that exam and do well in it and get the certificate. So you just come here, you can register right away. Sometimes you can get lucky and actually get a voucher, yeah? So if you have a voucher, lucky you just come and say, I have a voucher. Now, the certification is 3 years valid. For example, I did my exam in 2019, and so in 2022, I will be expected to sit for the exam again because a lot will have changed. A lot has already changed so far because that is how these ICT things are. They change so fast that I cannot claim to be a Google certified educator if things have changed so much over 3 years, yeah? So I will resit that exam and I am determined to remain a certified educator, and so I will do it. So the exam is usually 3 hours. That's a long time, yeah? It felt like a long time before I sat to do the exam, but once I was there, time moved so fast because of how engaging it is. And then the cost is usually $10. That's about 1,000 Kenya shillings, roughly, yeah? And therefore it's not so heavy on the pocket, I would say. But what I was talking about a voucher is to eliminate that $10, yeah? For example, my first exam, I got a voucher from the GEG Kenya leader, Fred Sagwe, and I will remain eternally grateful for that. So you can register there, and then you follow these steps once you're ready to do the exam. For example, you create your account. That is the account you're going to go in with to do your test. Then you select the exam you want to do, whether it's level 1 or level 2. Then you schedule the exam. I will talk about scheduling the exam. And then you do the exam. It's as simple as that, yeah? You just go and do the exam. And then people here actually give quite a bit of testimony about how this has been helpful to them. For example, look at this that has been written by Sam Brook. He says, I am doing the job that I love and just want to get better at it. I believe we are educators and we want to be better educators every other day. And working towards the level 1 certification allowed me to gain confidence in an understanding of how to use Google tools in the classroom. And it's definitely changed my behavior and perspective as an educator. Isn't that good testimony? I believe it is. So let me go back to my slides and share a few tips with you when it comes to becoming a Google certified educator. So just allow me to present them once more so that the writing is clear on your end. And so the level 1 certification exam tips, yeah? Number 1, you familiarize yourself with all the Google tools, all the ones for, especially the ones in the G Suite for education, as we listed them. Then it's advisable usually to install the latest version of Chrome, the browser, because at the exam center they have the latest. So if you don't have the latest, there might be communication issues, yeah? Then find a quiet place to take the exam. Obviously, you cannot take it in a noisy place. 3 hours is a long time. Then be ready to sit for 3 hours. So get everything you need because you cannot stand, yeah? Which ties with the next point there, that you have a working webcam because you are monitored throughout the exam. Actually, if you stand to go to take a bathroom break, for example, I think the exam will discontinue and you will not be able to take it again because of cheating issues, I think. And then it's very important to have a reliable internet connectivity. And then follow all instructions during the exam. You know, we are educators and sometimes it's difficult for us to follow instructions because we are very used to giving instructions instead, yeah? And then complete all the steps in the scenarios given. There are different scenarios given. I will tell you a bit more about the different scenarios. But a simple example would be you're given a scenario where your students are doing exams and they're using the Google Docs app. And so you're told to comment, put 5 comments and send it back to this address, assuming that would be your student. You know, of course, the address will be that of the examiner so that they can see your competence in that scenario. So complete all the steps in the scenario because some steps flow into others along the exam. And if you had left them hanging, then they interfere with how you're going to perform in the next level down the exam. A bit more tips. Once you pay for the exam, that $10, or once you have your voucher to redeem and you put it in, then you have 8 days to do the exam. So if you're the kind of person who is hesitant or last minute person, pay for the exam and then work in those 8 days, more or less very hard, so that you pass the exam. There are people like that. And then during the exam, you're assigned an exam account. So of course you sign in with your Google account as usual, the one you had created. And then once you're in there, you're assigned a new account that expires just after the 3 hours. After your exam is up, that account expires. You cannot get it back again. So of course you are advised to log out from all your other accounts, again, for purposes of ensuring that the exam is credible. And then you're required to log in incognito mode so that you don't leave any history. Nobody can go back there and see exactly what you are doing step by step or the sites you are accessing, etc. When you log in incognito, it's a requirement for the exam. And then once you pass your exam, you'll get your certificate and badge. Of course, it's an online exam, and so immediately after a few hours, normally, you will know whether you have passed or not. So once you pass, then the certificate and the badge come a little later. The badge, you can use it for you can put it on your social media, you can put it in your LinkedIn account, you know, to show that you're Google certified educator. Of course, the certificate is yours and it adds to your CV. Of course, they are sent to you online, so you print them out, yeah? And then if you fail, you can resit the exam. However, you can't resit immediately. So if it's your first attempt and you do the exam, then you don't make it to the 80% mark, which is the pass, then you resit the exam after 2 weeks. You're given a period of 2 weeks, and they actually tell you your weak points or your weak areas, the areas to work on, so that you're able to pass the next time you attempt the exam. They analyze the way you've done the exam, they give you feedback, they give you 2 weeks to revise, and then you can resit your exam. However, if you fail the second time you resit that exam, you have to go off for 6 months, yeah, to come back to resit the exam. So it's a bit strict. Then I have already said the qualification is for 3 years. So every 3 years, one is required to resit the exam. All right. Any questions so far? You can just unmute your microphone and ask if you have any questions so far.
You have said that if one person attends for the first time and he or she fails, he can repeat after 2 weeks. And you're going to pay again for the exam.
Okay, very good question. Yes, you will pay for the exam. By the way, the online exam learning management systems are the most expensive in learning institutions, yeah? So, of course, you're not going to be given the duplicate exam that you did, yeah? It will be a receipt, and so it's another exam for you. So, yes, you will pay the same $10. Any other clarification?
How can one get a voucher?
Maybe we can ask our GEG Kenya leader to see how he manages to get them. Usually every year he has a few and people can benefit from them. So we can ask him and get back to you.
Thank you.
Okay. Any other question? Oh.
Maybe you can go through the applications that we normally test, because we have seen so many applications that are offered. I don't know which one we normally test on, and now that we have the meet, I don't know if we are going to test on the meet as well. Kindly clarify.
Okay. So usually, like I have said, they will test the G Suite apps. More or less, you're supposed to be familiar with all of them, but just to let you in on a little secret of mine, when I went to do level 1, I had never used sites, Google Sites. But the instructions were in such a way that I actually managed to attempt that question, and I believe I passed it. Because the instructions are very leading, yeah? They lead you from one thing to the other, especially the scenarios, yeah? It's just one instruction after the other. But generally, you are supposed to be familiar with all the G Suite for Education apps. If I can go back to my slides, I think we had a slide that had them. This one, okay? So this I just got from, I just copied from my G Suite drop down, yeah? Where it is Gmail, yeah? You're supposed to know how to receive and send an email with an attachment, etc. Those are simple things, yeah? Drive, you're supposed to know how to store something in your drive and how to organize that information in your drive. For example, how to create a folder within your drive, how to store a file in a folder that is within another folder in your drive. I believe those are simple things you can do. Classroom, you're supposed to be able to create a classroom, admit students, remove students, yeah, give an assignment in class, etc. In docs, you're supposed to be able to prepare, professional docs that can have links in there, links to sites, to different sites, yeah? And you're supposed to be able to collaborate because it's a collaborating tool. You're supposed to know Google Sheets, yeah? Also another collaborative tool. This one, Google Sheet, is lightly tested in level 1 and very deeply tested in level 2. The if functions and the like, yeah? They will come up in level 2. But in level 1, it's just simple, putting in data, copying the formula, putting in simple formula, especially the in-house ones, yeah. Then slides, I think someone is asking for admission. Let me admit them. Welcome, Gilbert. So to go back to the slides to answer Rosemary's question. So all this in simple way for level 1 and a little deeper for level 2. And do you need training? Maybe that would be your next question. And my answer would be yes and no. Now, if you're a frequent user of G Suite for Education, I believe you don't need any training because you will have interacted with all these tools as you go along in G Suite for Education. If you're not a frequent G Suite for Education user, then you may need a few pointers here and there. And I can provide that if you're interested. Okay, any other clarification? Yes, Clary.
For you to be in a position to pass well the level 1 exams, you must familiarize yourself with all these tools. So my question is, within that 3 hours, you should be in all the questions that they will be asking. You should be in a position to answer all these questions, putting into consideration that maybe they'll tackle all the tools within 3 hours. That is my question.
Okay. Within the 3 hours, it's not possible for them to incorporate all the tools. It would be too heavy, yeah? But they are very basic tools, very basic ones that must be there now. Let me go to the ones that must be there. Gmail for sure will be there because even to communicate about other apps, you will use Gmail. Drive is there because you will be required to store things. So it is being tested even when it's not direct. You're told to store that, to put that in your drive, to work on this and put it in your drive. You see, you have used drive indirectly in that question. Classroom in level 1, it will be there in level 1, but minimal. It's deeper in level 2. Docs, sheets, and slides for sure will be there because they are very common tools. They are very common tools that are used in everyday. I mean, a word processor, a spreadsheet processor, those are common tools, yeah? And presentation slides. Okay, calendar in level 1, minimal. Level 2, very deep. You'll create events in your calendar and invite other people. You know the way you are invited to this meet, yeah, via Google Calendar. So you'll be able to do something like that. Meet, it's new, so it wasn't there in my time for level 1 and level 2, but I believe now that it is a new tool. For sure in level 1, there will be a touch of it, and in level 2, a little deeper. Sites, this is what I was telling you I had never used when I sat for my level 1 exam. But then, of course, when I now went into level 2, I realized that I have to explore as much as possible. So I went into exploring everything. So I don't know whether I'm answering your question, Clarice. Okay. Clarice, I hope I have answered your question. Any other clarification?
Like now we are in COVID.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anything going on? Can someone sit for an exam during this time?
Of course, yes. And that's why I am bringing up this idea now that schools are off session. It is possible that a particular educator will actually have a lot of time, yeah? It is possible that your school probably is not open, or there's no online learning going on directly affecting you. And so you have plenty of time Today, if you book the exam, you'll still have the 8 days to do the exam. So yes, everything is going on. Rosemary, is that okay? Okay. Any other clarification? Okay, so now I would like to move on to something else, having touched on the Google for Google certification, and I'll just go back to my slide and probably go to the last one here, where I want to say that GEG Kenya, Google Educator Group Kenya, has been around since 2015. We have done a few things, including, teacher support, but there are many regions in Kenya without GEG leaders. So in forums like this, usually, you are welcome to volunteer to be a GEG leader in a particular region. It can be a county out there. So if you're interested, please get in touch with the GEG Kenya leader, and probably that opportunity can be yours. So we need regional leaders in our country. And I want to end with this African proverb, yeah? That if you want to go fast, go alone. More or less to reiterate with the one I started with, yeah? If you want to go fast, go alone. But if you want to go far, go together with other people. It's very difficult for you to do something alone on your own, but if you get together with other people, there is synergy and you're able to do a lot. Thank you very much. So, and